Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's such a great day, a great Friday. It's good to see you. Welcome to the Playroom, first and foremost.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. How is everything going?
Going well. I refuse to say that I'm busy. I just have many things that I am working on.
Okay. Tell me more.
Well, okay, so we met on Clubhouse, I believe. So
Yes.
I'm a coach. I started out being a life coach, and then I realized that people that I was talking to, all they wanted to do was talk about business because they had known that I've had businesses. So I'm like, well, I know, but you gotta get your life before you can start a business. You gotta get your life together. So I was able to blend in life coaching with business coaching, and so that's what I do. And so I'm working on things because I'm getting ready to hire a VA.
Okay.
Well, not really a VA, but an assistant. For sure, she's actually local, and I'm just fine tuning things that I'm going to have her start doing to help me out, so that I can focus my attention. I'm getting ready to start running ads, so I want to focus my attention on that.
Okay. Okay. That's really good. First and foremost, I would definitely love to applaud the fact that you're a lifestyle management coach, which I think is a recommendable thing completely because there's a lot of practice that goes into the thinking and process and what you're able to do. So tell me more about your story and how you even started this.
So I'm going to go way back, and I'm going to tell you. So I was a teen mom. And even as a teen mom, I was really smart in high school, but even as a teen mom, I was able to graduate top of my class and get scholarships to college and all of that. And I was athletic. On top of having a baby, I was athletic and ran track, all the things.
Okay.
And there came a point when I was in school and I was talking to my mom, and she says, I was telling her, I said, I'm in school, but people just want to talk to me, and what they just wonder, like, how I'm making it, despite having a baby and all these things. How am I doing this? And I told my mom that I'd rather spend my days encouraging people so that they can do what they want to do. And She looked at me like I was crazy, and she said, I think I was like 21, and she said, no. She was like, how you gonna do that? And I was like, I don't know. And she was like, girl, what are you going to do? Just talk to people? And I said, yeah. And my mom, she says, nobody wants to hear what you have to say. And just kept it moving. And so that stuck with me. And so when she said that, I was like, you know what? She's right. I'm a I'm not a teenager anymore, but I'm a young mom. And truthfully, I'm struggling. Yeah, who wants to hear what I have to say? Even though people wanted to hear, how I was living my life. So throughout the years, I don't say counsel people, but people came to me for everything. It was like I had a big sign on my forehead that said, talk to me. And I talked to people through their issues, and even though I was having my own, and then one day I was like, you know what, I should probably, the good advice I'm giving other people, I should probably take myself. So I started to coach myself, and I realized that's what I was doing. And I started having businesses, even at 25 years old. And it just morphed into what it is today. So in 2018, I officially started my coaching business, and I was coaching face-to-face. Then, of course, last year with the pandemic, it made me have to go online, which just really blew things up. So that's how I got started.
Wow, that's an amazing story because it shows that you had that passion from the get-go, but you didn't really know where you were going to take it to. Wow. And now when you think about the impact that you're creating in these people's lives, what are the things they tell you that you probably did not expect to hear when you were starting this journey?
So when I first started, I was like everybody else, trying to DIY and figure it out and learn. And even though YouTube was around, I didn't view it as a good resource at the time. So I was really trying to figure it out on my own with very, very little help. So now I hear, you're so good at this, and how did you learn all of this? And honestly, honestly, I love YouTube because now I'm in the place where if I need a quick answer, I can, it's a resource and I go to it. But back then, I just figured it out and did the best I could. And it really taught me, I think I'm more grounded in what I'm able to do, and I'm more secure and confident. Oh no, I learned how to do this without a video. So I hear things like, I'm really good at what I do. I hear that a lot. I also hear about my consistency. You're so consistent. So I'm consistent with things that I say, my demeanor and disposition. So what you see and hear right now is who I am, who I will be all the time, on all platforms.
Yeah.
And so I hear those things that reinforce that I must be doing something right if people are saying the same types of things about me.
Okay. And that definitely built a strong resilience for you, especially when you think about, like you said, things blew up for you after 2020. And now if you think about going back into the in-person meetings, now that people are opening back up, what do you think is going to be different for you that wasn't happening then, and now you can be able to use both to your advantage?
Well, let me tell you this. So where I happen to live, the investment level for coaching, people don't really invest in that where I live. And I can tell you right off the bat now, what's going to be different is I will be traveling. Okay. I will be going to my clients in different cities, and I will be traveling. And I think I will be able to bring so my experience with having to go to people to meet them where they are, I think they're going, my new clients and upcoming clients, they're going to receive a whole different level of a client experience. Because if I'm going to a new city, I'm going to bring this greater excitement. I'm in a new city. Not only am I helping you, but I'm in this new city. I'm seeing different things. I'm experiencing different things. I know that is going to come through with my communications, and that's just going to be a better experience for my clients.
Okay, and that tells me already that the people that are going to be connecting with you have a better chance to be better because they can see you through the lifestyle that you already have.
Yes, yeah, and ultimately that's what it is I do in business coaching. People they're in business because they want to attain a particular lifestyle at some point. They want to be able to communicate their successes in a way that impacts the lives of the people closest to them. So yes, I will definitely be able to bring that to them, and they'll be able to see, okay, in my business, when I get to a certain point, I can do that. I can go these places and even have my children in tow with me. Because I coach women, so that's one of the things that's really important to them, is that they're able to have more time and connections and do things with their family. So they'll be able to see that in person.
Okay. And even with your kids too, how are they seeing this? Because I want to be like mommy one day. How do they see that when it connects to your vision and where they are as well in their lives as well?
So that is such a good question, and I'll tell you why. Because it's one of the things that I express to my clients that have children. Your children are watching you do this. You're making such an impact in their lives. So let me tell you, I have many children. I'm a mom of 10, and my oldest is 26, and the youngest is only 2 years old right now. And my older ones have watched me be in business from the beginning, and I will tell you, it really helps our children, and these are for my clients and their children. This really helps. Watching their moms work a business teaches them discipline. It shows them what hard work, integrity looks like. It does represent what success looks like. It shows them that if you just keep going, things will happen. It teaches your children how to manage trials and how to manage challenges. There is so much value in being a mom or being a parent even that is an entrepreneur or in business. There is so much value. And it's not just about us. It's not just about our children, because then our children take this, and then as they grow up and become older, they share that with their families. And it's just like this cycle of impact. It's just this amazing cycle of impact. I call it exponential impact.
Wow. Because honestly, I'm even thinking myself, like when the kids come, and I'm already having a full-on schedule as an entrepreneur. Balancing those two and giving the kids the most time and the most valuable time as well is really hard to think about, because now you have to split your day into two and you still have clients to travel to. So when you think about balancing it, is it a better position when you know that your kids already know what you're doing and they're comfortable with you not being around all the time? Or is there having to be a balance of them having to come with you and see what it's like sometimes?
Yeah, so I'm going to tell you, I really don't believe in balance.
Okay.
I just think that you can have harmony with life and business.
Okay.
And as far as that goes, I'm just going to speak from my experience and how I coach my clients. So we definitely make our families the priority. So when we schedule ourselves for our daily task or whatever, however we go about scheduling, I will tell you that my family duties and knowing what's going on with my family goes on my schedule first, and everything else works around that.
Okay.
So I'm getting ready to put my little ones in soccer. So that comes first. And so that means that if I have to rearrange my clients so that I can attend my children doing soccer, then that's what we're going to have to do. There are no concessions. My family will always come first. And I also express that to my clients, that they should always prioritize their family. It's important for the children, because you mentioned balance, it's important for our children and our significant others to know that we are not putting anything else before them. So I don't necessarily believe in balance. I just believe that when you set your priorities and have your values aligned with what it is you have to do, you're able to demonstrate, okay, this is all you, and you can be fully present there. And then there's this work time. I also set boundaries. So I have certain work hours. I tend to do most things during the daytime hours when my family is away. My husband is gone. I'm in my office. Even though I'm generally in the home by myself, I still shut the door, and I get things done during the day, which doesn't impact evening time. And if there happens to be like an evening coaching session or something like that, my family is well aware, but I make sure that their needs are taken care of first.
Wow. That definitely gives me some confidence because it just means that there's a rule, like every house has a rule, and there's that rule book that you have to go by, so that if a client's calling you at 11 p.m., you know that you're not supposed to be doing that because it's a culture, that you've already adapted to your system. And when you also think about, like you said, a harmony, there's also stress management involved. So when you think about stressing over the demands, priorities, emergencies, how does the stress impact your life and the business that you have too?
Yeah, that's also a really good question. So I'm very in tune with like my physical being. So if I start to feel like I'm becoming anxious or a little bit overwhelmed, and I don't like to become overwhelmed, I take a step back. And I just stop and pause, and I take a look at, okay, what is it that has to be done? I readjust my priorities for the moment and handle what I need to. If there's an emergency that comes up with my children or my spouse, I also have a real estate business with my husband. If there's something that comes up with that, and the real estate business is quite a roller coaster, I just stop and I just pause. I do not let the stress begin to impact me, because I'm gonna get completely transparent here. I'm the type of stressor that I shut everything down and shut everything out, and I just I seclude myself. That's not good for business owners. So I just pay attention to my physical being. If I'm hungry, I'll get something to eat, or if I may not be hungry, but if I know I need to eat or get hydrated, I make sure I attend to those things so that I can handle whatever I need to handle in a more sound and wise way.
Yeah. Okay. And if you think about the fact that you mentioned, stressing those two points, there's time management involved, because you need to spend time with your clients, you need to spend time with your kids, you need to spend time with your significant other. But at the same time, they could clash at some point. Has it ever happened in a situation where everything is happening at the same time and you don't know how to manage it?
I try not to let that happen.
Okay.
the way I manage time, I prefer energy management over time management, and I try to schedule things based on how I feel. So I'm a morning person. So I try to do the tough things in the morning when I have the energy. But as far as like things happening at the same time, I also time block. So when it does come to time management, I time block. I use a real paper like planner. I have a legit planner that I write in, and I have highlighters for different colors stand for different things. And I try not to let those intersect. Sometimes, you know, they do, but it's not planned, and that's okay. I also allow for margin in my schedule, so that in the event something comes up or something crosses over, I have time to work on that. The other thing about allowing margin is in case, for instance, I go off of like how I feel, energy, right? Like, do I feel like doing this right now? No. I wake up very early in the morning, so sometimes like around noon or 1, I'm like, I'm tired. I have, 4 more things I need to complete, but I'm just tired and I just can't do it. I'm going to be honest and tell you that I will take a nap. If I put margin in my schedule and I'm a little bit ahead of where I need to be, if I got 40 minutes, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to close my eyes
and take a nap.
I'm going to take a rest, and I get up and I'm able to finish doing everything I need to do. So yeah, I use a paper planner to try not to let those kinds of things happen.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense, because now when you take that nap, it's like you're hibernating and you're gonna go back into the same energy you had at 4 a.m. in the morning. And it even tells much. Not everyone is an early bird. I'm an early bird, and I realized that you actually do almost 80% of the work before the sun even rises.
Yes. Well, yes. What I started doing when the country opened back up and my gym started opening back up, I get up at 4 and I pray and read my Bible and connect with God. Then I go work out at 4:30. Then I'm back home by about 6, and then I start my day. Now in summer, when the kids don't have school, I get right to work. After my shower, I get fully dressed, makeup, all of that, and I get right to work. And yeah, I'm able to get a lot done. By 8 o'clock in the morning, I get so much stuff done. When the kids are at school, I got to get them ready and then, get them off to school, and then I'm able to continue working. But yes, you're absolutely right. You get so much done. You're just waking up and you're full of energy, and as long as you stay focused, you have the time. No distractions. Nobody else is awake.
Right. You
can accomplish so much. But I'm going to tell you, to your point about it being like, you can get so much done before the sun comes up. I think if people overall, if they had a better handle, maybe created a system for themselves or created some sort of routine, if they stuck to it, they can get a lot done in a short amount of time, no matter when they get up, if they just create that routine and system for themselves.
Right. And there's something that you mentioned as well in your copy, and it's about peace. And when you said 10 kids, the first thing that came to my mind is how peaceful is this home, that it's such a blessing to have everybody in unison, saying the same thing. Nobody's arguing. Of course, we have constructive arguments, but when you think about finding peace in your home and balancing with the business, how does that play a role today?
Yeah. So, full disclaimer, we do have 10 children, and 5 of them are grown and actually out of the house. So we have some in college, 1 in the military, and then all the other ones have their own households.
Nice.
So we only have 5 in our house, and we happen to we don't live in like a mansion or anything, but we happen to have a nice sized home where people can spread out. But I am big on creating an environment of peace, and what that looks like for me is being able to wake up and pray first thing in the morning. But at home in the mornings, I come downstairs to a pretty much clutter-free space. Now, I'm a mom with kids, so there might be shoes or socks. I got preschoolers that don't know how to put things away. But I create a clutter-free space. I straighten up often. I'm not one of those people running around constantly cleaning, but we try to live as minimal as possible. I play music throughout the house. So even when no one is here but me, in the other rooms, I just have peaceful music. Sometimes it's my Christian music. Sometimes it's just nature sounds, like birds and, just sounds of nature, just to create that space. And I also burn candles and just try to make it comfy and cozy. And as far as like the arguing and things like that, I know that for me and my husband, as long as we are communicating to our children that we love them by checking on them, talking to them, engaging in conversation, hugging them. Not all families do that, but as long as we can communicate to our children that we are with them and we're present for them, then we are able to just see a more peaceful space in our home.
That's beautiful, because now it shows that there's more control over the emotions, because there's already a system that is, predominantly created to make sure that everybody's on the same page and you're able to connect without having to despair anything or put anything to the back burner.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. We're trying to set that precedence. And I'm going to tell you that in talking with our older children, they remind us of that. Because when I go to their homes, I say the same thing. I'm like, oh, it's so peaceful here. And they're like, well, it's just like, this is how we live. Yes, that's how they've been raised, to just have a place of quiet and love.
Exactly. Now, tell me about diversity management. I don't even know what that means, but I know it has a lot to do with differences. So how does that play a role into what you do?
Yes. So right now, diversity management, it's not just, the color of your skin, or, it's not the primary factors that we think of when we think of diversity. You're from Asia, you're from, Africa, you're from the States or whatever. It's not that. It's things like you are a single mom, or you are a caregiver of a parent, or you are a parent of a child that has autism or special needs. It's the things that we don't think about. And so how that plays a part in my coaching business is when I'm able to connect with my clients and do some one-on-ones. I do mainly group coaching, but I care about my clients, so I do take time to speak with them one-on-one. I'm able to utilize the fact that they have unique differences going on in their lives, and I'm able to help them use that as a catapult in some cases to get them to the next place in their business. When they're thinking that they can't do it, or it's too much of a struggle, or when that doubt starts coming in, I remind them of no. You are different. You have a unique quality, and this transfers into business, or this unique difference about you transfers into why your home, your life, your relationships are at peace. So I'm definitely able to use my diversity management background in my coaching business. Absolutely.
That's amazing. It just shows that there is much more to the pot than it is from an outlook, because somebody is looking from it from an outward perspective, saying, okay, yeah, maybe I'm in this mix, but I don't know how to get out of this mix. But now when you combine diversity management with psychology, with organizational leadership and organizational development, it now puts you up at a pedestal that now makes you feel more in control. Now you have a better formation on figuring out, okay, this is what I want to do. And it can also help the person that's looking at you to now say, okay, what are the questions that you can help me with? Because everybody has their pain points. So when you think about the passion that you're bringing to the table, what are the pain points that you see with your clients when they deal with psychology management, diversity management? What are those things that they struggle with that you help them, manage and pass through on?
Yeah, so what it boils down to is there's this overarching fear. There's this fear that they are not going to measure up, that they're not going to be successful, that they're not going to be able to compare. You notice the words I'm saying?
Yeah.
These are things that a lot of people go through, not just entrepreneurs and business owners, but it boils down to fear. And using, my psychology background and using what I've learned academically and what I've experienced and pushed and moved past through to help them overcome fears so that they can create this space and this life for themselves where they can now be very successful in business. That's what it boils down to. Addressing their fears and teaching them and coaching them through pushing past those.
That's amazing. It shows that you really care about the people that you coach and you train them. And when you mentioned earlier in the podcast today, when you talked about virtual and in person, are there some people that, just like some people say, hey, I'm not going back to work, I'm just going to stay remote. Are there some people that you have to go by their rules because of how they already live their lives, or it's totally dependent on how you structure your business?
So there will be, so what you're asking is if there will be times where we can get together, I will go meet with people in person.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm definitely open to that. And I'm going to tell you ultimately, maybe not ultimately, but one day, and I was so hoping before the pandemic, what I had planned to do was host not a vacation, but like a meetup, you know what I mean? Where we go someplace, a beach. We have my husband and I, we have a house down by the beach. So go to South Carolina and just meet up and, talk and maybe do like a mastermind. That was the plan.
Yeah.
Then COVID hit. We weren't able to do that. And I was considering, are we going to do that this year? But I'm okay in the online space. I'm okay with that right now. I think doing things virtually is okay. I prefer face-to-face. I do, but I understand people are a little bit uncomfortable. So in the meantime, I will be considering ways that we can meet, we can meet together as a group, or we can meet, one-on-one if I need to fly out somewhere. I'm okay with that. And if they want to continue doing it virtually, I'm okay with that too.
Yeah.
I've set up a system where I'm able to offer a lot of support to my clients. So I'm prepared either way.
That's good. That's good. When you think about also challenges as well in your business, because right now you've built a system that works, but before you found that aha moment, what were you doing before then that was really like, okay, test, repeat, test, repeat? What was that? I know.
So when I first became an official life coach, that was test, repeat. Okay, so what do we need to talk about? There was a lot of information gathering that I needed from my one-on-ones at the time to really identify what a coaching program what my coaching program would look like. So it took some refining. It definitely took some readjusting and reevaluating constantly until I was able to come up with what I needed to come up with. And so now I got it. I got it now, but it definitely took some time. And I want to tell you that my clients, some of them knew what was going on because, I asked for grace and I told them that, I need your help. I need your feedback. And it was a great reciprocal relationship. Other clients had no idea that I was still testing the waters, but they were getting results. And that was the end thing. We needed for people to get results. So
Exactly. That's amazing. If somebody comes to you today and says, hey, please help me with my life, what do you take them through? Do you have a pre-qualification process, or do you just have to see where they are and then take it up from there?
So I always like to talk to people. We'll do a Zoom, and I'll explain to them I have a method called the STAR method. And I explain to them my STAR method, and I invite them for an opportunity to apply to see if working with me would be a good fit for them. And we go through the application. Not everybody qualifies, but many people do. And in that case, they will then be entered into my coaching group. If it's somebody that wants one-on-one, like hand-holding, I do that. There's definitely a different investment level.
Definitely.
But I just take them through the coaching program. It's 90 days. Yet they still stay connected. There are ways to keep everyone connected. Because once you're part of the family, you're just part of the family.
Exactly. Even when someone's done with their program, do they still have access to you, or do they have to pay another plan? Okay.
No, there's an initial investment level, and at this point, no, they still have access. And I'm going to tell you, so I'm on my third coaching cohort as a group since I moved away from one-on-ones, and There have been people that still even pop in here or there for my other coaching group. I'm so okay with that. Once you're part of the family, you're part of the family. And I want people to continue have continued success. So yeah, they have access to if I come up with new worksheets or new resources, what I find out, I let them know. And yeah, they have access. So it's a great situation for anybody that works with me. And that's it right now today.
Okay. You just mentioned something that also brought a question to my mind in terms of one-on-one versus group coaching. What is more effective as a coach? Is it telling everybody the same thing at the same time, or telling different people where they are and helping them progress independently?
Yeah, so I had this conversation last night with a group, and I absolutely think that group coaching, for me, group coaching tends to be more effective because I'm all about impacting lives, not just one life, but lots of lives. And so if I can touch more lives with the same information at one time, that's great. Now, some people are saying, oh, you know what, I know about this already, or I've implemented that years ago or something like that.
Right.
In a case like that, I love it because they, so it's not just me doing all the coaching and all the talking and all the teaching. My other clients have an opportunity to hear from a peer about how they implemented something that I'm talking about in their lives and the success that they got, or how they tried to implement something similar, but they like what I said. Now they're going to try that and see if they can get a different result. So the group coaching is so full, it's so rich. People develop relationships, and a community is really built. And again, I'm all about impacting lives, not just one. And so it's not just the lives of the people that are in the group, but it's all the people that they impact too. When they take that information back to, because many of them are also coaches, when they take that information to their clients or their family members, so many people are impacted, and that just warms my heart.
That's amazing. It actually brings a lot of light, because the keyword that you mentioned there is that the peers can also become a coach inside the same session. And that gives them authority to feel like they're also important, because it's not just, oh, I'm being told what to do, but now I can tell somebody like me, and when they know something, they can also implement it, because at the end of the day, it's teaching, it's coaching, it's mentoring, it's leadership, it's that servant leadership mentality that brings in the best result as well.
Absolutely. You said it all. Absolutely.
That's amazing. And last but not least, if somebody's a coach or wants to be a coach and they're doing this test, repeat right now, what can they do today that can help them get off that high horse and start doing the groundwork to give them that edge that they're looking for in their business, wherever they're doing their coaching in?
Yeah, so the one thing that I recommend that all coaches do, if you're already trying out this coaching space, the one thing I recommend that they do is identify exactly who it is that they serve. And I will tell you from experience, I thought I wanted to serve a particular group of people, but another particular group of people found me. So again, you heard me say that most of my clients are coaches. So I'm finding that I'm becoming a coach for coaches. So my message is starting to shift slightly, because those are who's attracted to me, other coaches. So I would recommend that they start to identify who it is that they serve. And if they're struggling with that, then they need to reverse engineer it. Well, who comes to them? What are some general commonalities between people that come to them for advice or come to them for coaching? So that would be the first thing that I would recommend that they do. The other thing I recommend that they do is to get solid on their message. Be clear, be concise, and be consistent with what it is they talk about. So, because that will always draw people in. When you're on social media, whatever platform you're on, the pictures are beautiful. The videos might be good, but at a certain point, when someone is ready to start working with you, they're going to push past all of that, and they're going to want to see the meat of what it is you're saying. So they're going to look at your captions. They're going to really, really look between the lines of those videos that you're saying. It's not about the how nice they look. And if you have a consistent message, it tells someone, it gives them that confidence that when I invest my hard-earned money. And in some cases, I mean, I don't want you to have to, come to me and struggle in other areas financially, but if I am going to invest in this person, I want to be confident that they're going to be able to get me the transformation that I need. It's not just a transaction, but it's a true transformation. So I would recommend that they know their audience, that they know that they are clear on their message. And then the last thing is that they have a solid offer. What is your offer? Now, it can be general. Like in my case, I knew that I was doing one-on-ones, and then I wanted to do this 90-day coaching program. My offer is a 90-day coaching program. Your offer could be, 8 weeks or half a year or even a 1-year deal, whatever the case. Get solid on your offer, the thing that is going to help someone get from one point to another. Those 3 things I think would be key for somebody that is in this coaching space trying to figure this out.
That's amazing. You said 90 days, and I thought this was the last question, but you just brought something to my attention. And if, let's say, you're on day 45 and someone wants to start on 1, do they have to join the wait list for you, or do they just join in because you're so far in the syllabus, in the module, that if they start at day 45, they'll be like, huh?
Yeah, so at this point, what's happening is, because I don't want people that demonstrate their interest, I don't want them to wait. So I have them come on in. And there haven't been too many cases where I've had to okay, hold on everybody, let me explain and catch, such and such up. No, they've been able to come right on in and get a sense of where we are. So while some people are officially stopping at their 90 days, they'll continue on until their 90 days is up. But remember, I said that my clients have access. So if they still wanted to, continue on, even past that, for whatever reason, or the other clients that have stopped wanted to continue on, they can. So I make sure that it's not so programmatic where, it's layered on, and if they miss it, they don't know what's going on. I try to make it so that no matter what point you're coming in, you will get something from it. It will be applicable to your life and your business that day.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. It actually clears the air now, because someone will think 90 days, I didn't start today. So it makes a lot of sense that everybody is in their individual 90-day journey, but you are just running the program and it's on a continuous workflow base.
Yeah. Rolling and rolling. Yep.
That makes a lot of sense. Wow. If somebody wants to really reach out to you, how can they find you?
Yes. Okay. So I always jokingly say when I'm on other people's podcasts, I'm everywhere. You can find me on Clubhouse. You can find me all these places. But to be honest, the easiest place to get a hold of me is to go to my website, which is justkellee.com, and that's JustKellee.com.
Wow. Thank you so much, Kellee. You have been a breath of fresh air today. Just amazingly giving people a beacon of light, just to let them know that they can also do it. And I'm excited to actually have you here in the podcast room, in the playroom. And even before you go, what one thing would you tell anyone listening to themselves? Because people listen to themselves and be like, okay, I'm not sure. Okay, yeah, she's right. I've done it, but I don't think so. Like, what kind of confidence, because it's also psychology, like you mentioned, what can you let them know that they can also do that you've done before and you've seen pass?
Yeah, so I'm a faith-based coach, and I always tell everybody to seek God's face. Now, not everybody listening to your podcast may believe in God, but if you have a higher power, seek assistance, seek guidance. Don't do this alone, because sometimes it will seem like people are not there for you, and sometimes they're not. But in my case, seek God's face. He will not ever leave you or lead you astray. So that would be my word of advice. Just go with what you know is good for you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Kellee. Thank you so much. I've learned a lot myself. I'm sure the audience has also learned a lot, and I just can't wait to bring you back here as well.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me. And yes, I will come back anytime.
Definitely. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.